Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make informed decisions. Now, guys, I've got a financial background. I bought my first foreign currency in like 1990. I used to work for Bear Stearns. I've been behind the scenes. I understand the flow of money in banking and around the globe. And I truly believe that crypto can change the average person's financial future, and it's the biggest opportunity in history. That's why I founded this channel. That being said, it's bizarre to me in crypto, people don't want to talk about the negative side or the downside risk, or just talk about their investments and have real conversations in general. That's extremely odd to me. So, I do my research for me and I share with my community. And when I do a deep dive, I often uncover a lot of lies that I hear spread. And I also uncover a lot of uncomfortable truths that we need to talk about. Unlike most influencers, I bring that to my community's attention. That's just the way I'm wired, and I don't think you can be successful just having confirmation bias and run around and trying to find positive threads or information about your favorite project. Outside of, say, maybe the Bitcoin maxis, I've never seen a successful crypto tribe. They all get wrecked. Anyway, that being said, speaking of uncomfortable truths, we've got to talk about some issues inside of Hedera and HBAR of what's going on. But then we're going to dive into some extremely bullish news with Mastercard and fresh supply. Guys, I can't tell you how much bullish information and how many bullish projects are being built on Hedera using HBAR. It's mind blowing. And outside of the Ethereum ecosystem, nothing is building bigger projects, not even close, than HBAR. And we're going to dive into that and talk about why you're not aware of some of the big projects and why people don't talk about it, etc. Then we'll take a look at the chart and I'll tell you my prediction for this bull run, or at least what I'm doing, because I have a pretty healthy bag of HBAR. So let's dive in it if you want to hear some hard truths and some bullish information. All right, hit the like button. Now, this all kicked off from the HBAR bull, which you see on your screen. And if you look at this, MasterCard's crypto connection. That's one thing we're going to talk about in this video. But I'm also going to give you some more alpha that I think will help everyone understand the big picture, especially when it comes to banking and payments. That's not, directly only about Hedera, but it will help you make better decisions because you're more informed. All right. Now, the uncomfortable truth is right now, for whatever reason, there's some trust issues inside of Hedera. A lot of people have uncovered how much some of the employees make, the CEOs, the top guys. Now, realistically, guys, you got to look at these as startup like software companies. Those guys got to get paid to run one of the biggest blockchains in the world. Now, I find it ironic that there are companies out there that are huge, top 10 inside of crypto, definitely the top 100, and they dump on their community, and instead of reinvesting into their community, they buy jets, buy businesses, pay for lawyers and things like that, and no one blinks an eye. So I don't think that the payment structure is any different and not even remotely as bad as some of the other projects. They just don't disclose how much the top guys are, but they have big fat bags that they dump on their communities for whatever that's worth. Now, when I first got into crypto and I did my deep dive. I compared project after project after project, and it kept leading me to Hedera as far as the ecosystem and the big Wall Street firms like on the governing council. Now, I had two issues. They had a patent with the Swells Lab. I think it's Swells Lab. They had a patent. I didn't like that. That means it's 100% centralized. And I didn't like the tokenomics. And then as I dug deeper, I was informed that now the patent that they have for Hedera is part of the ecosystem, and it's voted on and is controlled by the community. Now, that to me still means it's a little bit centralized, but now I understand the world wants centralization. Decentralization is not the future. When you're moving millions and millions of dollars, or investing billions of dollars into a project, and there's no safety net, a lot of people don't want that, including myself. It sounded sexy, that decentralized utopia, and there's a place for that. But when it comes to, you know, the movement of billions of dollars or trillions of dollars around the world and building out these multi-billion-dollar projects, people want someone to pick up the phone and to call. They want a safety net for whatever that's worth. Now, the biggest issue was the BlackRock news that came out like a month ago, and HBAR ran to like 18 cents. And then a lot of supposedly the insiders dumped some of their bags and it fell back down. But guys, that happens every single day. Now, granted, it turned me on and it slowed me down. I'm not adding to my bag, which we'll talk at the end of this video. But, they are aware of how the community feels, and they are addressing it day in, day out. There is a lot of the big dogs inside of crypto going on to like the HBAR bull, talking about that they're aware and how they want to make it right and fair compensation throughout the Hedera community. Now, one thing they've done is create Thrive Protocol, and it's a project built on Hedera, and it basically says we're kicking off season 1, Thrive Hedera, a new initiative designed to reward the Hedera community, streamline grants, and amplify Hedera's ecosystem and their knowledge and their marketing. So that's pretty bullish in my opinion. It can't hurt. Now, a lot of people said, well, if they weren't having issues, they wouldn't have to create something like this. Long story short, if you want more info on that, go to app.thrivecoin.com. Long story short, it's set up if marketers or people that are bullish on Hedera, if they make videos and do a whole list of different things, you can get paid in Hedera. So, even me, and I'll look at it. This video, I could probably get compensated for that. Whether that's bullish or bearish, I don't know. I'll have to think it out and think through it. I personally will never get paid to promote a project that I'm not 100% have conviction in. And even if it has a downside and I am bullish, I'm still going to share. And honestly, when I get approached every day, and they don't like that. They only want me to, do the FOMO. Most influencers do it, especially the big boys. And I'm open to it, but if I ever promote a video and get paid for it, I'm going to tell people I'm getting paid. And if it has a downside, I'm going to bring it to your attention, or I'm just not going to do it. All right. That being said, let's get into the extremely bullish information about Mastercard and some other things I want to bring to your attention. I truly believe, guys, that Hedera is one of the best projects out there. If you compare the adoption of the big boys in the world. They are building on Hedera. That governing council is a powerhouse. And I've said from day one, because of my background and my understanding of how the world works, people don't want to hear it, but this is just the way it is. The legacy banks, Wall Street, and the governments, primarily the U.S. government, are going to pick winners and losers, and they are going to dominate crypto. And if you study their roadmap of what they've up to, they're well on their way. Now, let's talk about news and bullish information. Why are all these big Wall Street projects being built that we don't know anything about? Well, think about it, guys. You're talking about Boeing, right? And major players like IBM and this company that I'm going to bring to your attention, Fresh Supply. They are leaders and dominant leaders around the world in their sector. They don't want to announce to the whole world what they're doing. Why would they? Why would you announce the competition to the competition how you are leading the future of Web3 and you are changing everything about your sector? You're not going to do that. And if you're inside the governing council in any form, way, shape, or form, and you have access to all that information, you have to sign a disclosure form, a non-disclosure form. You can't go share that information. But I believe you're going to see more bullish news, just like that BlackRock news. Yes, it wasn't as bullish as some people made it out to be, which everyone exaggerates almost in crypto, but it was extremely bullish news. It was the first BlackRock fund tokenized on any blockchain, and they tokenized it on Hedera through ArchCheck. And ArchCheck came on the HBAR bull and said, look, HBAR and Hedera is our go-to blockchain. Yes, they said they're open to using other blockchains when it fits, like Ethereum and XRP. But guys, it was extremely bullish news. Now, I want to talk to you about Fresh Supply. The CEO went on HBAR Bull, and that's that video. If you want to really dive deep and understand what they're doing with Mastercard, you need to go watch that. Now, why am I talking about Fresh Supply? Well, people don't know this, but they're the biggest account of Mastercard. Let that sink in. Mastercard moves more payments around the world than any other credit card company. So they are partners, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But I want to tell you what they do and who they are. They are an ag business, one of the biggest around the world. Like it says on the screen, Fresh Supply Company brings blockchain to the farm. Now, guys, we're talking about they are revolutionizing the ag industry. I'm talking about, farm to table tracking, payments, everything to do with what feeds the world, from how to raise chickens and how to move them around the world, how to track them, how to be more efficient, how to be ESG friendly, etc. And everything they do is built on Hedera. And you can go to their website, scroll around, which is fsco.io, and look at these partners, guys. MakerDAO, great tokenized, Mastercard, Tokyo, Commonwealth Bank, some big boy partners. And then when you scroll down to the bottom, it talks about some of the companies, the major companies that use them. And then at the very end, it says runs on Hedera Hashgraph Ledger technology. Now, what does that have to do with MasterCard? Well, like I said, they were MasterCard's biggest customers. And they said, look, we're going to revolutionize and move into blockchain. So MasterCard said, hey, we're doing that too. Why don't we partner up and we'll kind of use you as a trial run? So they did a lot of beta testing. I mean, there was like Polygon, Solana, and 3 or 4 other blockchains looked at, and they chose Hedera. Now, in that video, which guys, go check it out, the uh, Fresh Supply CEO actually did a transaction and explained it, how it works with MasterCard. And guys, it's going to be so common. It's not going to be any different than swiping your credit card in the future. It's going to be simple, but we are so early. Now, here's what MasterCard has created. It's called the Multi-Token Network, MTN. And it's there to scale and secure blockchain technology into the MasterCard ecosystem. Now, what they've created, and this is the alpha that doesn't just is not just part of Hedera. It's all applications in the future of real world tokenized assets and payments and the flow of money and the banking sector, from SWIFT to JP Morgan to the Fed, all of it. This is what the future looks like. And I've got a video coming where the founder of Chainlink talks about this. He works with all those entities, CBDCs, all of it, governments around the world, and he verified where the future of crypto is going as it is today. You know, you see a lot of misinformation in crypto, especially about cross-border payments and all the BS where people talk about, you know, how the banks are going to go away and companies are going to overthrow SWIFT and Fed is doing this and going to use this. They just don't understand. And guys, I want to highly encourage you guys, before you invest, especially HODL any blockchain, you should do some research on the big boys of the world, because they all have a plan, just like MasterCard. No one's going to jump in and steal payments from MasterCard or JP Morgan or SWIFT. That is just an absolute fact. And if anybody does any research, they'll understand where I'm coming from, for whatever that's worth. Now, here's the future. And now I finally, after, I'm not kidding, about 1.5 years of really trying to understand it, but I don't have access to developers and some people that are really, really smart on the tech. I can't call banks, right? Even though I've tried. I talked to R3 Quarter one time. But here's where it's at right now, is you're going to have atomic settlement. Like a lot of people talk about finality in payments and things like that. Guys, the future is all going to be atomic settlement with NFTs and smart contracts. Everything will be tokenized. Your house, your car, your dog, your health records, your social security information, your taxes, everything, unfortunately. And it's going to be on the ledgers. And you know, I don't like JP Morgan. I don't like Jamie Dimon. But Jamie Dimon once said that cryptos are scams and blockchain and DLT technology is the future. Well, I've been trying to understand that, because I know he has conviction in that. He wasn't just fudding crypto. Well, now that I've done multiple deep dives with real players and listened to like Chainlink's founder talk, listened to some podcasts of the developers that work for JP Morgan and Swift and some of the legacy banks, they're building out the infrastructure on top of what they have now. It kind of reminds me of how you have Ethereum, and now you have multiple layer twos that are, there's layer twos, a lot of them, like Polygon and Optimism, that are way bigger than the layer ones out there. And you even have layer threes, and you're going to have layer fours and fives and six. That's where everything's headed. Now, I know I'm rambling, but here's what you need to understand. We're not just going to send money like we are now. Yes, average people and retail can just use their wallet and use like Venmo or Cash App, or you can use your wallet and send whatever. But when you send billions of dollars, which is all that matters, like from the repo market, and when Coca-Cola wants to send, $500 million to build a plant in China or Indonesia or wherever, they're going to use atomic settlement through the legacy banks, just like they do now. It will just be new technology. An atomic settlement, to simplify it in its easiest form, is you basically take money. You're like, I have this money and I want something else. Well, you tokenize the money with instructions. You tokenize whatever the something else is, whether that's a deed to a car or a house or whatever it is, and it comes with instructions. All that's going to tie together. They both become an NFT smart contract. Now, it's going to run on the same type rails the legacy banks use today, like Swift and their private or permission blockchains, not outsiders. Now, so there's not going to be any tokens needed inside the core of the big, big trillions of dollars that are going to move around the world. So you have, this is where Hedera comes in. You have that information, and Hedera has a DLT ledger, which is running on Hedera's mainnet with Mastercard right now, and it has a consensus mechanism. It's two-part, right? So you have the ledger, and then the number one most powerful thing I think in all of Hedera is their consensus mechanism. It's tied into FIS Global, one of the biggest players in the world in the flow of money and payments. They're tied directly to the Fed. They will probably be the dominant player as it sits right now. They probably are. Well, you're not going to be paying for payments in Hedera, but FIS Global uses that mechanism. And that mechanism basically says, okay, the money's tokenized, the information is there, it's compliant, it's ready to go. And the same on the other side. And once that's a go, the distributed ledger makes it happen and follows those instructions. And that's the future. It's not as simple as you might hear of all the money is going to run on XRP rails, or there's going to be one, dominant global currency. It's not going to work that way, guys. It's going to be thousands of projects built on and have gateways into the legacy banking system like Swift and JP Morgan and Mastercard. Don't let anyone kid you. If you do your research and you can prove me wrong, please let me know. And I'll make a video, I'll bring you on my show. But if you do the research, you're going to find the same thing that I found. I'm non-biased. The answer's the answers. Facts are facts. All right. So that's extremely bullish. Now, let's take a look at Hedera's chart. It was doing well. This is the yearly chart. It was doing well. And they got that BlackRock announcement. And then it basically came back down. And now everything is down. But it literally broke structure. And it got all the way down to almost where I started stacking. I started stacking between 4 and 5 cents. And if you were paying attention, you could have bought HBAR recently for about 5 cents. Now it's just a little bit over 6 cents. Now, what are my thoughts? Well, my first thought, hold on. Let me back up and tell you one other thing before I forget it. When I talked about Mastercard and Hedera, right? This is the difference between me and most influencers. If they get bullish news on their favorite, like if I was an HBAR bull and I was tribal, I would have just left this information as it is. But here's the facts. Mastercard has done this with Hedera and Fresh Supply. But Mastercard's goal is to do it across blockchain when needed and when the interoperability is there. So you're going to have Ethereum tied to this MTN network. You're going to have probably XRP, XLM, all these projects, just like with Swift, hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of blockchains tied into this network. Guys, we are extremely early, but don't kid yourself. The change that's coming is still being dominated, and the change, whether it's the so-called banking reset, which is already underway, whether it's tokenized assets dominating the world, it's going to run on the Wall Street and the legacy bank infrastructure. All right, so here's what I think about Hedera. Now, my initial goal was 2 years ago, before there was an additional, 2 million tokens added into crypto, which to me diluted every pump that is out there except for a select few, and we don't know which projects those are. So my initial plan was, I thought it was the closest thing to a guaranteed 10x. I'm stacked under 5 cents. It makes a new all-time high. I will be out across the board. And I was planning on taking my profits at about a 3 or 4x. Taking out, not my profits, but taking out my initial investment. That's how I do things. And you think about it, guys, I'm not telling you to do that, but consider this. 90% of all people lose money in crypto. My goal for you is to get you in that 10%. And one of the best ways to do it is when you take out your initial investment, you're good to go. You make $1, you're in the 10% club. That's not the goal, but the goal is not to put in 10,000 in crypto and walk away with 3,000, especially if that 10,000 goes to 150,000 and then you ride it back down to 17,000 or 3,000 or a loss. That's where you need a game plan. So for me, I'm not adding to my HBAR bag. It's been beat down just like all projects. I have no doubt it's going to bounce. I have no doubt that it's going to be a top 10 project in the future. And I think it's going to turn around and it's going to be a world beater project. Now, here's a question I've been asking, and I wish we could have more intelligent or intellectual conversations about what I'm about to say. I'm starting to come to the conclusion that there are, hundreds of top real world utility projects like HBAR, XRP, XLM, Polygon, and you can go on and on, Chainlink, Quant, that are phenomenal projects. They're going to have a lot of adoption in all sectors across the board. But I believe the majority of them could run for the next 20 years and be world beaters and never need to hit a new all-time high. There's plenty of money to grow those ecosystems, and the money being made and that will be in the future, like with Chainlink, is more than enough to feed the foundation. That's what I truly believe. So that being said, guys, in my opinion, if you're looking to hodl any project, the risk is off the charts. Because, after that XRP win, it made me really realize that cryptos are not stocks. Well, what are they? Some people call them currencies, which are commodities, and other people call them commodities. Well, I used to be a licensed commodity trader, and I'm here to tell you, you don't hodl commodities. There's a few, like maybe gold, but, if you're going to invest in crypto and commodities, you need to have a crypto commodity game plan. And cryptos are not stocks. They're not something to hodl. They move off of hype, they move off of supply and demand, and they move off of news. So when you get these big green candles, guys, if it's a commodity like gold or silver or oil or a currency like the dollar or whatever, you need to take those profits. So anyway, I'm not adding to my HBAR bag. My new approach is I'm going to take my initial investment out earlier than expected. And I would have to say, guys, probably at about 25, 35 cent tops, I'm out of my HBAR. Now, maybe I get out early. A lot of people believe it's going to make a new all-time high. Would not surprise me. That was my initial bet, but something's changed for me. And some people say it's going to $1, some $2, $5, $10. But I don't care, because I feel like if Hedera does run to a new all-time high, some of the better projects that I own, like Render and EOS or Beam, will outperform that no matter what. So why lose in that opportunity cost, right? Now, the biggest reason that I have changed my mind about when to take my profits in Hedera and across the board in crypto is, guys, 2 years ago when I was stacking Hedera, there was literally maybe, I don't know, 50 projects in the world that had real world utility and that were set up to be used to change the world. That was just 2 years ago. Now there's literally, guys, there's probably 250 real world asset projects, minimum, if not 10,000, that have real world utility and are going to get a piece of that pie. The whole crypto market has been diluted. There's 2.5 million tokens out there. So just like in 2017, when things could pump 10,000%, well, then the next year they pump less than 100% or 1,000% maybe, or 1,500% or whatever. Well, now in this bull run, you're not going to see the average project pump like it was 10 years ago. It's mathematically impossible. So anyway, guys, that's my new game plan, part of it. I'm extremely bullish as long as this administration changes, guys, and no black swan. 2025 is going to be spectacular to be invested in crypto, in my opinion. So, guys, I do one-on-one coaching. It's only $250 for 3 Zoom and phone calls. If you need some help wrapping your head around crypto, reach out. We can go through your portfolio, get you a game plan, talk about when and how to take profits that meet your risk reward. But guys, I'll help you all I can, and I'm here for you. But whether you take me up on that or not, do yourself a favor, get a game plan, work your game plan, and once you do that, the FUD and the FOMO is not going to bother you. You'll know when to take profits. You'll have a game plan and what indicators to look for, like with the charts and Bitcoin dominance and everything you're going to see during altcoin season. You'll have that understanding. And take profits or you'll become the profits. Guys, cryptos are not stocks. And when this thing pumps, if you don't take those profits, you're going to get wrecked. It's 100% guaranteed that all altcoins will crash, minimum of 85%. That's what the data and the historical data tells you. There's never been a crypto, actually including Bitcoin, to not crash minimum of 85%. So most of them are going to crash 90 to 98%. And when you go back into the preceding bull run, probably less than 5% will make new all-time highs on their second bull run. And who knows how many hundreds of thousands of projects are just going to disappear and going to be irrelevant. So keep that in mind, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Are you still bullish on Hedera? Do you appreciate these type videos in this alpha? Tell me your thoughts. And hit the like button. But no matter what, guys, come back and be part of this community. Subscribe. Take care.